Kia ora and welcome back to the channel. I'm Elvie and today we are doing another kind of painting video. Today's set is one that was gifted to me once again. This is a vintage watercolor set from the brand Reeves, and it is, my guess was from the 1960s-ish. I think that's what I picked up from the research. As in a bit of a quick Google and a bit of comparison between other sets that looked similar. I believe Winsor & Newton also produced sets in this tin from that time period. It looked like it was the general standard from the time, but yeah, I could be wrong. This is just some brief information and general overview that I've kind of Googled. This was used by my grandmother, and I met her for the first time, and we were talking about paint. She did some painting as well. She's losing her vision, so she saw me using it and decided to gift me the set, which was extremely lovely. And I'm super excited about the set in particular because I've seen it online. I've seen vintage paint sets being talked about and stuff. I've got one already, but this one I particularly like because of the metal kind of tin and kind of the history about how this kind of standard format became the modern one, which I've got over there. And yeah, I love history around watercolor as well, so it's very special to be able to have this set. Very long introduction, I'm sorry, but yeah, so it's got the Reeves logo down here and lots of little wells. As I'll open up, you can see here lots of little wells, and in here it says Reeves student box, colour box number 140, made in England, and all these names are imprinted. This looks like a plastic, maybe it's metal, I'm not sure, but this looks like it can be taken out. I have yet to try. Oh yeah, I can. This set, these are all the original colours. The ivory black is missing. That's okay, things happen, it's an old set, and it's really beautiful to be able to see what colours really stood out to my grandmother and what ones she ended up using. So I've already written down all the information, the names of the paint, so we can just get on to swatching. And I've also drawn out what the actual thing we'll be painting together is, which is just a castle that I saw the other day. Just going to be swatching with this random paintbrush. I bought it, it was like £1.50 I think, just for a thicker brush. I think I might have mentioned, I've been tempted to get the black velvet brushes, but they're out of stock at the moment, and that's my sign to just have a pause on that and buy them later on. Like, there's no rush around that, especially now that I do have a thicker brush, which is really nice, especially for swatching and these bigger A5 sketchbooks. So again, we'll get onto swatching. So I'm not really going to pre-wet the colours. I'm just going to roll a bit of water onto them and then swatch them out. I've got a sponge over on the other side, which I use to take off the excess water. And I'll be swatching them kind of interchangeably, like 1, 2, 3, to let them dry so they won't bleed into each other. This is Chrome Yellow Pale. Next one we'll swatch together is the Light Red. So this is your English red or your Indian red or your light red. Lots of different colours, but you kind of very red brown colour that you get in a lot of like 12-pan sets and stuff, and this one tends to be a bit more opaque. The black dots are to show how opaque they are. I am doing very watered down versions of the paint, so it won't show up as well, but that cover up the black dot if they have a lot more denser pigment or a bit of white in them, or lots of different reasons for paint to be opaque. This one is emerald green tint. I'm not sure about any granulation or anything from these. I don't know a lot about them, but that one looks like it's got a lot of texture, and same with the light red, there's a little bit of texture it looks like. Next is yeah, we'll do Gamboge tint, so just picking some up over here, maybe a little bit more. This looks very similar to the pale yellow chrome, but they are re-wetting really well. Then we've got burnt sienna, similar to light red, but this one tends to have a little bit of kind of yellow in it rather than completely red in comparison. And then we've got Viridium tint. This one looks like it will granulate a lot as well. Oh, and we're getting over to the other side, my bad. That's okay. And then the last three before we just let it sit for a little bit is yellow ochre. So those are most of our yellows of sorts swatched out. Sorry, I was kind of lifting the camera up a little bit. And then we've got cobalt blue tint. So it says tint rather than hue in the older sets, which I find quite interesting, and it's cool to see like differences like that. So tint refers to something that doesn't contain the actual pigment, so it doesn't contain cobalt in it. It's just like a synthetic blue that is made to represent or replicate cobalt blue. And this last one we'll be swatching for the moment before I let them dry a little bit is Hooker's Green Deep. So this is the last of our greens as well. You won't notice the cut, but I'll let these sit for a little bit and we can come back to this and swatch the rest of them. Okay, it's been a minute and they are basically all dry, so we'll go in with the next ones. This one is Orange Chrome. I'm just wetting it over here. Oh, that was too much. Too much paint. I'm not sure. It does say student, so I assume it's student grade paint. But I'm not sure. I did have some older Reeves tubes that I was very curious about, and they were beautiful, beautiful paints. I think I've still got some of them poured out. I only had two colors. I had ultramarine and a kind of phthalo green, but they were perfect for me because they're colors I use all the time. And this is cerulean blue tint. Next we've got Van Dyke Brown. I haven't pre-wet these at all, so there's no help with that, with water settling in and activating the paints. So they're doing very well. I guess one good thing with watercolor is it doesn't matter how long you leave it, they tend to be pretty fine after, even after so long. This is Crimson Lake tint. Like colors do change and shift and stuff, but for the most part it tends to be alright. This is the only one that's cracked, well, majorly cracked, by the way. This is Prussian blue. And then we don't have ivory black, so we'll move right along to vermilion mild tint or mid tint. That was very, very pigmented. Well, yeah, pigmented. There isn't too much issue with any opaqueness. I'm noticing it a bit here with the light red, which is very typical. As for the others, it's nothing too major. There's a little bit here in the Gamboge, I think. And this is where the dot is a little bit like covered. This is Maeve, by the way. Oh, bit of crossover. And then the last color is Chinese white. This won't be a pure white. I think there's a bit of red or something in there, and my water's not completely clean, but that's okay. I don't tend to use white in my colors anyway. So yeah, those are the paints all swatched out. They look beautiful. My light on at the moment is a yellow, so there will be a bit of tint to the paint. Okay, so we're going on to painting. It's not an overly complicated scene. Try shift that over here for you. I've currently perched you on my cup so that there's a little bit more stability. I'm not sure how the palette will go. I haven't cleaned it at all. So we'll see if any of the paint is stained or if it's will activate. So we're just kind of creating a muted blue here for the sky. It was a very cloudy day when I went up to this. And I am actually happy to go over the trees here a little bit, because it will help fade them into the back a little bit. I don't want to be too heavy with water, otherwise it will take far too long for it to dry, but I also want it to let it kind of do its thing as well. There's the sky, very simple, yet nothing. Yeah, I quite like it. Next we can go onto the grass, which is actually going in with Viridium here. Quite a bright green, so maybe I'll go in with a bit of the Gamboge tint. Maybe the emerald green as well, and we'll start with that, and then we can always layer it up as well. Try not to go too close to the sky because I know that's still wet, so if it made contact it would just bleed into each other, which I don't want. This paper, by the way, is by Kanzen, which is, yeah, popular watercolor paper brand. This is the 100% cotton paper and 300 GSM, so it's very thick watercolor paper, and so far so good. I'll let this dry, I think, as I talk to you about the paper. But yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed it so far. It's nothing stand out to me, but yeah, it's doing the job, and I haven't noticed it, and that's a good thing because it means I haven't noticed it becoming an issue at all. So that's my thoughts on it so far. I'm just going to let this sit for a little bit and I'll come back to you guys with the next layer. Okie dokie, so we continue. It's not completely dry, but you know, that's okay. I'm going in with the Van Dyke brown. I'm just going to create a bit of a grey, so using a bit of the cobalt blue as well. I want it to lean a bit more brown, so I'm just going to leave it at that. And we're just going to do a very light wash over majority of the castle, leaving the windows alone. I might go in with my smaller brush soon. Sorry, my words got a bit twisted there. And that's just for a bit of finer detail and precision. I always find it so interesting how far you can actually drag a colour around on the page before it sets in. And so yeah, we're just adding another very light layer on this side. So it's just to lighten the colour off my brush and to tap off any excess water I might have picked up. Trying to explain why I'm doing certain things as I paint. So there is the layer of the castle. I've just changed brushes to my absolute favourite, which is this one by Winsor & Newton. It's complete stable hair. Like, it's not going to focus, but it's stable hair, so it's very absorbent. And it holds a lot of water and stuff, which is, yeah, beautiful. This was also gifted to me by a different person. But yeah, this has turned out to be one of my favourite brushes. I'm just going to do this for the trees in the background. And probably for the rest of the video as well, I'll use this brush. Yeah, as we kind of build up some layers in the background. Just kind of using a bit of, sorry, I was lifting you up there. Yeah, a bit of purple and a bit of brown, and then a bit of the hooker's green and stuff to kind of get a bit of a darker green than what is available. So there we go. And then continuing with green, we will do some more on the grass. Using the emerald green and a bit of the yellow. I don't mind if the purpley colour kind of gets into this. A bit more of the emerald green, I think. With this kind of thing, I know some people get touchy if you use old paints and stuff, and I think my view is it's still something that's an object, right? I don't want it to sit on a shelf and just build dust. I was gifted this set because the owner wasn't able to use it anymore. She was, you know, lost a bit of, she still paints and stuff, but she's lost a bit of ability to be able to paint and see what she's painting and stuff. So, you know, it's only fair to continue to use this for paint. It won't be like my all the time palette or anything, and I do still want to retain a bit of the paint and stuff, of course. But if I don't use it, it's, yeah, another thing that will just continue to build dust, and that's unfair, especially with creative tools. It's so nice to be able to create with them and see how they are and how they differ. Okay, so maybe I can add a little bit more, but I don't want to overdo it. So I'm going to do some more layers in the castle, but I'll finish up the trees in the back. This is just a slightly brown leaning mixture that I just continued from the previous one that was already down. It's still wet, so it will bleed, but I'm okay with that. And then I'm going to add a little bit of the Viridian hue tint and then add that into the grass as well. Kind of a bit of a darker colour. So as that dries, we'll go in and add some detail into the castle. Okay, so taking you off that little cup that you guys were on, I've just done the swatch over top of the swatches here. and you can see lots of them will be much more opaque than I guessed. So this entire top row, they are opaque, so they'll cover up line work and stuff a little bit. If you use them in dense colors and a lot, like, so that means like a lot of paint compared to water ratio. In the next line, it's mainly just the gamboge tint and I think even the Viridium tint will be the main ones that are opaque. And then in the last line, I think the mauve is just dark. I don't think it's opaque. And the Hooker's green is also not very, that one's transparent. But the other four do cover up the dot. And that's common for these colors, like, that's not surprising at all. And yeah, it happens, and it's something to work with. Like, it's not a bad thing if they cover up the line. It's just an observation and good to know when it comes to painting and stuff. So now we're just going in to the castle and just adding a bit more shadow and depth. It's a very small drawing of a castle, so it's hard to kind of get all the details. Some of the details will get lost, and that's okay. Oh, I grabbed a bit of green, that was a mistake. Oh, you can tell. Oh well. Just add a bit more brown back into that. So these are just kind of acting as the stone and a bit of shadow. And then the top kind of spiky things, it's actually a bit more yellow. And then we've got the windows. So the windows themselves, inside of them, they're kind of almost black. So I'll just create a darker color to go inside. Oh, there's a bit of bleeding, but that's okay. I don't particularly mind. And that already kind of brings it together a lot more. So this is it up close. I'm trying to get it to focus. Just like debating, might add a little bit more shadow, but not too much, to these kind of sandstone like. I don't know if it is sandstone, but it reminds me of the color of sandstone. Okay, so that is the painting. I'm gonna let it dry and I'll come back to you guys with it all dried and yeah, conclude the video with you guys. So that concludes the video today. Overall, I really enjoyed using these paints. This is the painting up close and personal. Try to get it out of the light for you. And yeah, as you can see, it's still not quite dry, but I really enjoyed using this set, and I'm so grateful to be able to own it, have it, use it, and experience it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope it was fun, and enjoy the rest of your day.